Okay, yeah, since we're live. Okay, so I know you and I talked before, so we'll just formalize the introduction. My name is Christine Roper. I go by Cricket, and I live in Pace, Florida, which is just outside of Pensacola, Florida. We're home to the Blue Angels.
Oh, I've heard of them.
Yeah, this is their home base.
That's great. My name is Rachel Peppa. I live in Danbury, New Hampshire, a little small town in the middle of New Hampshire. Have children.
Okay, you're still fading in and out.
Oh, I think it's okay for mine.
Okay.
I think so. I have two children, Phoebe and Vivian. Vivian's 4 months, and Phoebe's turning 4 years old in June.
Okay.
So
I
yeah.
have two fur babies.
Oh yes.
I have a pug named Thor, like the god Thor, and I have a rescue pup named Hunter. So we have fur babies and we take them camping with us.
Oh, that sounds great. um, so we are. You did um, a lot of work on the poster. We had talked about some myths, and you started it, and then I did a little formatting.
Yeah. And I like the changes you did on the posters, so as I was waiting for you to call me on this, I looked at some other things that I could put on there, and I'm trying to keep it on a positive note because a lot of the pictures is, it's like, no, I don't want to put this on my poster.
And I love the pictures. I just love. I think that they're great. I think that it shows what we want it to. So our myth number one thing.
Yeah.
And so I did some fact checking on that one, and started a list of works cited or at least websites where we got some information. Um, and then we had the second myth: um, all minorities are on welfare, right?
Mhm.
So then we're talking about
Yeah.
how they yeah. So I think we're doing. I think we're
Yeah.
doing a good job.
We have such a rich culture diversity, and I know we tried to do this video before, and I'm probably not going to be talking about the same things, but
That's fine.
it's just we have so much potential through a variety of people, that all bring something to the table, and it's unfortunate that the only thing we seem to concentrate on is the negative side of everything. And I wanted the poster to show that is not the case. We have some very diverse, successful people, be they white, black, Indian, Asian,
Yeah, and I agree with you. I think as a rule, we were talking about before this idea that to break through all of these racial problems, bigotry, all of those things, it means more um, to sort of make it a personal thing. I don't fix it. I can life of enlightenment. I can help other people understand
Mhm.
any number of racial myths.
Yeah.
I could go out and say like, hey, do you know that you know Asia is it has X amount of the world's population, and
Mhm.
people from Thailand, people from Indonesia, people from Japan, people from China,
Yeah.
all of those people are included in that Asian.
Yeah.
Most people do
Yeah. And one of the things that I keep thinking about is the fact that a lot of our issues comes from, during World War II, for instance, we grouped this a whole population of people, said, well, you're our enemy, so we're going to segregate you. No, most of them were American born, and it just, I think our media and our government tends to promote putting down a certain group of people as they're a lesser culture. I don't know.
right? Isn't that what they call it? Like a subset of. And there is, I mean, we all share, 99% the same genetics. It's just
Yeah.
those little tiny characteristics that make us look different.
That's one of the things that I was looking at when I was researching this project, was the fact that human DNA is human DNA. We do not have subspecies of human beings. We have, yeah, we have different, chromosomes or whatever that dictates the color of our eyes and so forth. But we don't have subspecies. We're all the human race.
All the same. We're all the same.
We're all the same.
And that's the right. Like
We just look different. Yeah, we have differences.
and culturally, geographically, even the way religiously, it makes us all different
Mm-hmm.
because of those certain things. But you have a myriad of different things, and we had talked about this
Yeah.
when we spoke last, like the idea that, if I say one defining statement about myself, that then as a person listening to me, you will then fill in the blanks of what you then think that means.
Yeah.
So it's hard to work against human nature, which is kind of judgmental.
Yeah, it is. And if you look at the religious aspect of it, and speaking strictly from looking at, for instance, the Bible, at the very beginning, when God created us, he created us in his image. He didn't create the white people, he didn't create the black, he created the human being, man and woman, in his image. And I'm sorry, but I don't think God is prejudiced. you know
Can be, right? Can be. And yeah, I get it. And I think it's important to keep it in mind. It's so easy to get caught up in the negative. You
yeah,
said it. I really like
and yeah,
the positive spin on it, and it makes it so much easier. You know, not that it fixes all the problems, but it really, don't don't put it in a negative light. You know,
yeah.
don't don't draw those racial lines. Don't draw any lines. you know, just,
And all you can do, unless you and I are put in a position to actually change the world, all you can do is change your small world. That's all you can do. How you act, it may not change anybody else's opinion, but how you act might change it for somebody.
and that's enough, right? That's enough.
Yeah. Do it one person at a time.
And then eventually, those one people. I mean, you start down in Florida. I'll start up here in New Hampshire, and
Mhm.
eventually we'll meet in the middle of change.
Yeah.
Of acceptance, of um, you know, playing nice in the pool.
There you go. There you go. And I don't know. And I think, and I keep going back to this in my mind, is that I think our media is the biggest culprit, that they feed so much on the negative because that's how they make their money. And you can't be so small-minded, I guess is the good word, that whatever you see, you based your opinions on that. You know, and granted, there are some horrible people, but there's horrible people in all cultures and all races.
That's
It's
right.
not just one type of person or whatever. Everybody has the potential for evil, you know?
And that's the biggest thing. Just because you are one thing doesn't mean that you are then not hundreds of other things.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. You know, so, yeah, just because you're, I don't know, just because you're African American and you're on drugs, that doesn't mean that your whole race is like that. I mean, we have enough examples of positive role models and all work and all personalities and all races that show that you can get yourself up and make something of yourself regardless of your background or where you come from or what your cultural background is.
Yeah. And I do think that that's a good thing. Let's put a positive spin on a poster. Let's make it positive. Let's you know like that PBS or site talked about, like, go deeper. You know,
Yeah, yeah,
and say, you know, you might believe this, but in a nice way.
yeah.
Um, and let's talk about what's really true. Let's talk
Yeah.
about what it really means. You know, um, if you see someone and you see physical traits on them, that doesn't mean that they're um, American. It doesn't mean that they're white. It doesn't mean that they're Mexican. It doesn't mean that they're anything but you have to ask them the questions. You have to start
Yeah. Yeah.
and then open the dialogue and talk to them about it. And more likely you will find it interesting as opposed to something that is scary
Yeah.
or I don't I think that that's the biggest thing.
You know,
I don't see a lot of diversity here, but I do see a lot of religious diversity. I see a lot of cultural diversity, but it's not, and that's what's interesting, right? There's not
yeah, you know,
one part of what you are as a person.
yeah. And I think, you know, you started talking about talking and so forth. I think that's the problem. We have to open the lines of communication. And unfortunately, we've gone from a big melting pot to where my rights don't mean anything anymore because we're so politically correct that we've gone totally opposite. And we seem to be a race, all of us, of extremes, you know, and it's unfortunate because we can learn from everybody. And it's just because I'm different, don't hold that against me. Let me have my rights and I'll let you have your rights. I mean, we can all do what we want to do, just don't infringe on my beliefs and my rights.
That's right. Yeah. Don't make it be. Yeah. Let's all play nice.
Mhm.
It's the idea that you don't have to do what you don't want to do. I don't have to do anything that I don't believe in. But that doesn't mean that somebody that does believe in that and wants to do it is wrong. It's
Yeah,
my beliefs.
yeah,
Um, And I think across the board, there are some things, obviously, that's like a different topic, but like there are some things, like you talked about, there are some evil people in the world. And
Yeah,
you know,
I mean, let's
a
face it.
different topic.
Yeah, none of us are perfect.
No, none of us
you know, but I love the fact that some of us can talk about it and not get all bent out of shape about it. You know?
I think you hit the nail on the head, Cricket, when you said the media is a really big contributing factor. We live in a nation,
Mm-hmm.
and I think that they feed into that fear. And if we just step away from it, remove ourselves from that fear, say, what exactly is happening in my life, right?
Mm-hmm.
And we say to ourselves, I am not, I am going to erase those lines, those
Mm-hmm.
racial lines, those judgmental
Yeah.
in my head ideas. I'm going to erase those and start to look at this person, fellow human being. What do I want to be treated like? That's my choice.
Yeah.
What do I have questions about? I'm going to ask that person as
Mm-hmm.
you know. I don't know. I mean, I don't know. Like we said, maybe it'll make a difference. Maybe it would just be personally beneficial.
Yeah.
I
I
don't
mean, and it's just like, Facebook is a good example of that. People will put things on Facebook just to get a reaction. It's like, check your facts. I mean, we have so much that we have access to, newspaper, we have the web, the internet. I mean, you can find anything on the internet and you can validate your
lies.
facts,
Yeah,
you know?
there's lies on the internet too, and that's what's hard. Is
Yeah.
then we're putting the responsibility as you as a person. It's on you to figure
Hmm.
to yourself what is important to me. what is what
Yeah.
is something like this like going first to what you are, and then secondly going out and trying to make that positive.
Yeah. And I think we have such a potential as human beings to look at the facts and just make a decision. There used to be, what is it? Nike used to have this thing that if it feels good, do it. I think we have to change that mentality to say, if it doesn't feel right, don't do it. Check it out.
Check it out.
You know?
Words, yeah, written words um, have meaning and have impact.
Hmm.
Spreading lies and spreading um, hatred, um,
Yep.
negativity is, you know,
Yeah.
that's not
Yeah. I think words have a potential of being so much more harmful than anything else. You can take a, you can hit somebody, you can take that away, but if you utter a, excuse the language, but if you utter a damning word, you can't take that back. That's something that they will remember, and
it makes you feel bad.
yeah,
It makes you feel bad. And that's what we need. That's what right.
yeah. There's consequences to all your actions. I don't care whether the action is good or the action is bad. There's consequences to it, and you can choose to believe however you want to believe, but then be willing to live with the consequences. And I think that's part of the problem with all this issue that we're having with minority, with races, with religion, is people are no longer taking, what do I want to say? They're not accepting the consequences of their actions. They figured, well, I can do this and it's not going to hurt anybody. Yes, it does. It hurts somebody. Somebody down the line is getting hurt, whether it's you, a family member, a friend, or whatever.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, so.
Yeah. Let's try to all get along. You know,
Yeah.
and I can decide I want to live.
Yeah. Yeah. You know, I had a pastor that was fond of saying, it says, you're going to be amazed as to who is in heaven. You know, so,
Yeah.
you know, and that's the attitude that we have to have. There's good people everywhere. You just need to work a little harder to find them, you know, not just get out of your comfort zone.
And it's not. It's specifically not taking people at face value. What you
Mm-hmm.
It's being not blind to that because that's not a solution either. But
No,
it's like past it, making
you
it.
know, yeah, I mean, there's, you're gonna, you have to protect yourself. You can't be so, you can't go around with blinders on and say, you know, oh, I'm going to love everybody. No, that gets you in trouble. But you can make the decision of, let me find out first, and, you know, then remove yourself as, no, I don't want to deal with this person, regardless of their color, you know?
I think that that's great. I think we're moving ahead on our poster. I think we'll put a few little final touches on that, and then we can move along to the other parts. You know, our
Yeah.
poster.
I think I will move our schedule date. I think I'm going to move it by a week. Okay.
Yeah, we can just we'll do that. I have some more time this weekend that I can put into doing some stuff. So I think we'll just need to be careful. I'll do a few little editing things, but then send it back to you, and then you want to add.
Yeah.
And then I don't mind doing the final.
I think what I did with the poster, by the way, is I removed like photo 1, photo 2. I kind of removed those because like that, it doesn't show, it seemed to be out of sequence. I left the description, but I just moved the photo thing.
Yeah, it was a little, yeah. We'll see. We'll see how we can do it at the end, but I do think having a few little, like another fact that we can put about the all minorities are on welfare, you know, like a negation,
Yeah.
is something we could work on, and then, you know, and then just finishing up the works cited.
Yep. So I'm going to move our scheduled date by a week and put it to May 8th. And I think that'll give us plenty of time to finish it, and maybe do another hangout call, not a recorded one, but just another hangout call. Midweek.
Yeah.
Okay. All righty.
Touch base again.
All right. Well, you have a good weekend, and we'll keep plugging along. I think we're doing good.
It's all figured out. I think this is
okay. All righty. Talk to you later.
Yeah. Thanks, Cricket.
All right. Thank you. Bye, Rachel.